Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. The Pope and top officials from the Roman Curia are suspending their normal schedule this week to gather for a Lenten retreat. The Pope chose Cardinal Gianfranco Ravasi, who is president of the Pontifical Council for Culture, as the guest preacher for this year's week-long retreat. Rome Reports has more on the Lenten retreat.
This week, Benedict XVI will not be seen in public. On Sunday afternoon, he began a spiritual retreat to reflect on the first week of Lent. These spiritual exercises have become part of a tradition now, where the Pope stops all activities and gathers in prayer with other members of the Roman Curia. But of course, this time around, the retreat coincides with the last days of his pontificate, making it even more appealing to the public. Italian Cardinal Gianfranco Ravasi will be leading the spiritual exercises.
Santità, è con grande emozione che all'inizio di questi giorni di solitudine, di silenzio e di meditazione do voce a tutti i miei confratelli e gli amici che sono qui presenti per testimoniarle ancora una volta il nostro affetto, la nostra gratitudine, la nostra ammirazione.
Ravasi is an active user of social networking sites, especially Twitter, and so he's decided to write posts that summarize the key messages of the day. In fact, it's the same message Benedict XVI will be hearing in Rome's Redemptoris Mater chapel. And another way to keep up to date is to actually listen to some of the reflections and meditations Cardinal Ravasi will give on a daily basis. They will be uploaded in Italian on the Vatican's radio website every afternoon.
One news now from the Vatican. A statement from the Vatican February 18th announced that Pope Benedict XVI has entrusted the leadership of the financially troubled Sons of the Immaculate Conception to Cardinal Giuseppe Farsaldi, president of the Prefecture for the Economic Affairs of the Holy See. The religious order runs a major hospital in Rome which specializes in diseases and cancers of the skin. The order has about 400 priests and brothers. Its members also work in North and South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. The Pope said that the Cardinal will have the task of guiding the religious institute and leading the healthcare structures it operates toward economic renewal if possible. The statement added that Vatican funds would not be used to rescue the order's Italian hospital group, IDI Healthcare. In news now from Rome, John Thavis, former Catholic News Service Rome Bureau Chief and author of Vatican Diaries, spoke to CNS about the extraordinary circumstances of the upcoming papal transition.
It's been interesting walking around the old neighborhood around the Vatican, which is where Pope Benedict, as Cardinal Ratzinger, lived for 20-some years. And the people there have reacted in a couple of different ways. They're concerned for the Pope because they think, well, he must really be frail. They're concerned for his health. But most of all, they're wondering, are we going to see him again? You know, will he be walking through our streets feeding the cats ever again, or is he going to disappear behind the Vatican walls? So it's a very strange kind of goodbye, and people don't quite know how to do it. Journalists are dealing with this idea of resignation for the first time as well. And of course, they have 1,000 questions. And the interesting thing is that the Vatican doesn't seem to have all the answers. You know, this is clearly a work in progress as far as the Vatican goes. Father Lombardi, the Vatican spokesman, has been extremely helpful, meeting with journalists every day, but he's been quite honest in saying he really doesn't know how everything's going to work out. And that's because I think Pope Benedict is going to define the job description of retired pontiff. For journalists, it's also the season of finding cardinals and trying to get them to talk about who might be the next pope. And I think the cardinals are, of course, always a little bit hesitant to start talking about that, but especially now because we have a reigning pope. We have a pope who's still in office. And it seems a little bit unseemly to be talking about that before he's even resigned.
And finally in the news, in a statement released by the Catholic Conference of Illinois, Robert Gilligan, executive director of the conference, denounced an Illinois Senate vote to permit same-sex marriage in the state. Gilligan called the bill a redefinition of marriage legislation. The Senate's vote was 34-21 in favor of the bill, which changes the definition of marriage in state from between a man and a woman to between two persons. Gilligan said that marriage joins a man and a woman in love to meet one another's needs, to procreate, and to raise children. This, Gilligan said, is the lifeblood of any human society. The bill has yet to be considered by the State House. If it passes, Illinois Governor Pat Quinn, who is a Catholic, has said he will sign it. If the bill becomes law, Illinois would become the 10th state, plus the District of Columbia, to permit same-sex marriage, joining Connecticut, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, and Washington State. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.